This video is sponsored by Normandy 1998, Christopher Mitchell, 212th Trooper, and Silas 1610, and brought to you by Normandy 1998 who requested this topic. If there is a video you want me to make, just head over to Patreon or become a channel member, and select the Pickled Producer tier, since among other benefits, you'll get to make a video request every month, be it the continuation of an existing series or a brand new story. Also, while I have you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, since it costs you nothing and really helps the channel grow. As you know, partnership is a core theme of the Pokemon franchise. That's why I'm excited to announce that BetterHelp is the paid partner of this video. BetterHelp is a service dedicated to matching you with the right therapist for you and your needs, since starting therapy can be daunting. However, once you get over that hurdle, it can also be massively beneficial, helping you sort through stuff that's on your mind, and even stuff you didn't realize was bothering you, be it day-to-day life worries or something bigger. To put it in a Pokemon context, BetterHelp is like the episode Charizard Chills, where Ash helps Charizard sort through its issues with Damien and how that's affected its outlook and attitude since evolving. Now, think how much better things would have been for Charizard if it knew it had someone it could talk to about that stuff earlier on. Now there's a what-if idea right there. However, you don't have to ask what if when it comes to yourself, since as part of Mental Health Awareness Month and the goal to stop the stigma around mental health support and encourage more people to get the support they need, BetterHelp has made it convenient to connect with a credentialed therapist. All you need to do is click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/pickleddill. That's betterhelp.com/pickleddill with 2 Ds and 2 thumbs up from me, since by using my link you'll also get 10% off your first month of therapy. But with that said, let's get on to the story. Our story begins at Oak's lab as the professor is preparing for his trip to the Unova region with the Ketchum family. After so many years, he's excited to go back, though the effort of packing has left him a bit frazzled, to the point where he barely notices when Ash's Gible comes wandering inside and even climbs its way onto the sofa. Due to being a new arrival at the lab, the little dragon is still in the process of familiarizing itself, with it currently looking down curiously at the open suitcase, though thanks to lacking any form of neck, it must lean forward to do so, with it unfortunately leaning just a bit too far and taking a tumble onto the pile of clothes within. Well, that's not bad enough. At that moment, Oak's back happens to be turned, meaning he does not witness the fall, nor does he notice the Landshark Pokemon in his distracted state, instead simply dropping his last handful of luggage into the case and zipping it up. At first, this startles the little Drake, as it has no idea what is happening, though following some initial jostling as the case is placed onto the back of Oak's Jeep, things become rather pleasant, with the rocking of the vehicle in motion and the comfy bed of clothes putting Gible in the mood for a nap, so that its presence is not noticed until Ash, Delia, and Oak attempt to pass through customs, at which point several questions are raised around why the professor has a live Gible in his case. Opening the trunk up and pulling one of Oak's socks from its fin, Ash laughingly asks if it was trying to come to Unova with him, and while the dragon ground type doesn't know what a Unova is, it is happy to see Ash, and so chomps him affectionately. Taking this as a yes, the boy grins that he guesses it can tag along, since the second journey certainly benefited Ambipom back when it was his Apom, though they'll need to wait till they get to Professor Juniper's lab for Tracy to send him Gible's ball. From here, things return to their canon course for a while, with them boarding the plane and arriving in Unova, where Pikachu temporarily loses his electrical powers due to a bolt of lightning from Zekrom. Nonetheless, the Cantonian group still rendezvous with Professor Juniper and make their way to her lab, where Ash meets Trip, with the pair agreeing to battle, though here Trip asks to battle Gible, since while it's still a strange foreign Pokemon, at least it's not from the boonies like Ash and Pikachu. This is a remarkably poor decision, as even though it's only a first stage, Gible is still from a pseudo-legendary line, not to mention unlike Pikachu it has no external nerfs, meaning when it faces off against the level 5 Snivy, it beats it soundly, forcing Trip to concede that maybe Ash isn't a total novice and skulk away in defeat. Meanwhile, having heard that the sandy-haired boy intends to challenge the Unova League, Ash announces his intent to do the same, with his mum, Oak, and Juniper all calling this a great idea. As a result, after having Gible's ball returned to him along with being given a new Unovan Pokédex, he sets off on his new adventure with Pikachu and Gible by his side. However, they will not be his only companions, as while making his way through the forest, Ash spots something in the bush that his Pokédex tells him is an Axew, though upon throwing a ball, discovers that it is actually a human girl named Iris who is none too pleased about this exchange. Nonetheless, after some brief bickering, the pair wind up travelling together at least for now, with them soon coming across a herd of dealing, though when Ash goes to throw a ball without battling like a novice, Gible emerges from its ball and bites him on the head, giving his brain enough of a jumpstart to remember that he is a trainer with 4 regions worth of experience, and so probably shouldn't do that. Thanks to this, he has Pikachu battle the Dealing that initially led them here, and after beating it pretty easily, catches it, thus bringing his squad to 3. Meanwhile, Iris is enamored by the little dragon still perched on his head, with her gushing and imploring Ash to let her take a look, to which the boy agrees, albeit a little put off by the strong reaction. Subsequently, Iris informs Ash that her dream is to be a dragon master, so she loves dragon types, with this in turn solidifying them travelling together earlier than in canon, since she wants to watch Gible develop, and perhaps will even help Axew to grow. Once more, things get back on the canon path from here, though unfortunately due to Iris not vanishing the next morning, Ash doesn't leave camp so quickly, and thus doesn't meet his Pidove. However, someone he does meet is Oshawott, who followed him all the way from Juniper's lab, with it helping to foil a Team Rocket scheme and subsequently joining Ash's team informally, since when he goes to catch it, he discovers that it already has a Pokeball. Fortunately, when he arrives at a nearby Pokemon Center and contacts Professor Juniper, she gives him its ball and her blessing, since clearly the two of them are meant to be a team. Now with 4 Pokemon in hand sooner than he has in any region before, Ash continues on, with the next event of note being when he and Iris are attacked by a sunglasses-wearing Sandile, who has been digging pitfall traps around a local hot spring, seemingly in an attempt to destroy it. Fortunately, unlike canon, here Ash has a tunneler of his own, that being Gible, with him bringing it out and having it battle the ground dark type when it attempts to kidnap Pikachu. As a result, this is prevented, though a rivalry quickly forms between the pair of ground types, even if it is entirely one-sided, as Gible is too dense to recognize that Sandile holds any ill will towards it. From here, things return to their canon course once more, as Ash and Iris still visit the Battle Club where he acquires an abandoned Tepig, and then face off against the triplet gym leaders of Striaton, due to having Gible face off against Chili's Pansear, Dealing handle Cress's Panpour, and Pikachu dispatch Silence Pansage. This isn't too much of a challenge, though all the same Silent is impressed enough to join the team, completing the companion trio. Following this, Ash also gets his hands on a wild Snivy, rounding his team out to 6, with this being fortunate, as a little while later when visiting another Battle Club, Ash encounters Trip once again. Here the Unovan boy challenges him to a full battle, and in this timeline, he can accept. At first, this does not go well, with Trip's Tranquil easily dispatching Oshawott before Pikachu finally takes it out, though he too falls to Trip's Servine, showing that it is evolved. Likewise, Dealing cannot get a win during the clash of grass types, though in a surprise upset, Snivy does manage to beat her evolved form with a clever combo of Attract and Leaf Blade. However, this is far from a decisive victory, as when Trip next brings out Frillish, Ash accidentally triggers its Cursed Body ability by having Snivy use Vine Whip, freeing Trip up to take it out too, and leaving Ash with just Gible and Tepig, neither of whom are great matchups for his Water Ghost. Nonetheless, the Raven-haired boy presses on, choosing Gible, who demonstrates its recently mastered Draco Meteor to take the haunted jellyfish down, forcing Trip to reveal more Pokemon than he did in canon, as in the main timeline, Frillish was able to finish off his team. For his 4th choice, Trip goes with Vanillite, which almost instantly spells doom for Gible due to it being quad weak to ice, though at least Ash's final Pokemon in Tepig is the type advantage when it takes to the field. However, Trip isn't worried, since as Ash and Tepig soon come to learn, Vanillite excels in its defenses, allowing it to tank the pig's attacks and give back as good as it gets, so that in the end, this clash concludes with a tie, making Trip the winner of their first full battle as he still has 2 Pokemon left. Naturally, this loss is a blow to Ash, though all the same he continues on, with Gible not having much relevance to the plot for a while beyond keeping up its usual goofy antics and playing around with its friends. Namely Axew, who's a fellow finned dragon with a mouth weapon, finds a lot of kinship with the land shark. As a result, Gible takes on the more big brotherly role that Axew would normally take for Scraggy in canon, teaching the somewhat shy Unovan Drake to loosen up, even if it doesn't necessarily agree with the no thoughts, just bite lifestyle its buddy proposes. Nonetheless, even without Gible playing a major role, the plot does progress, with Ash getting his 2nd badge from Lenora following an initial defeat, some training, and a rematch. Likewise, he also gets Scraggy's egg, which in turn hatches soon after and becomes a new team member who Gible weirdly gets on with quite well, since it can bite Scraggy's hard head all day without hurting it, while the battle-hungry little salamander considers this training. As a result, Axew and Gible form a little trio of sorts, which unfortunately means more trouble and chaos for Ash and Iris in particular. Not long after this, Sawaddle also joins Ash's party, and while 3 grass types may not be ideal, we know from his canon Kalos team that he's perfectly happy having 3 of the same type, because to him, team comp comes secondary to friendship. And speaking of same-type Pokemon, is around this time the Sunglasses Sandile reappears and has another brief showdown with Gible, even going so far as to evolve to beat its rival, though this is maybe a mistake, since that just gives Gible more of it to bite, resulting in yet another L for the Desert Croc, who retreats once again. Resuming the canon course, Gible unfortunately does not play a role in Ash's third gym battle either, with that pleasure going to Tepig, Pikachu and Swaddle, who evolves into Swadloon midway through, resulting in a victory for the young Cantonian. However, it is around this time that Gible's star rises back into prominence, as during the journey to Nimbasa City, the trio come across a girl named Emmy who is having trouble with her Drudigan, and while Iris acts as her main mentor due to being an aspiring Dragon Master, Ash and Gible still help, especially when it comes to light the Drudigan only knows 3 moves. It is on the verge of learning Draco Meteor. Having specifically worked with Gible to learn that move, Ash and his little Drake step in, demonstrating the attack and guiding Drudigan to achieve the feat far quicker than it would have on its own. As a result, when Team Rocket attack and try to steal the cave Pokemon, Drudigan and its little mentor fire a twin Draco Meteor that puts pay to that plan and saves the day. Following this, Ash also uses Gible against his new rival Stefan and his Blitzel, resulting in a pretty easy win, since Gible's ground typing makes it immune to the little zebra's attacks, while it knows Dig for super effective damage. Though that is not the only battle the Landshark takes part in, as a few days later, Ash and co come across Trip, with the pair agreeing to a best of 3 battle, since they each have 1 win under their belt. Wanting to start off strong, Trip chooses Servine right off the bat, while going with what worked before, Ash picks Snivy. However, as you will learn, Trip has spent a lot of time reflecting on their battle and how to improve, which includes not making the same mistakes twice. So when Snivy attempts to repeat its winning combo from before, Servine overpowers it with Cut, while using Leaf Tornado to counter-attract and take the smaller grass snake out of the battle. For the second round, Trip reveals another new Pokemon, a Timber, while Ash picks Oshawott, since if his rival's Pokemon has a weapon then he should too. Surprisingly, this logic proves sound, as when Timber and Oshawott clash wood against Scoutchop, the Scaly Sword prevails, putting Ash and Trip back on an even keel. This just makes their final battle all the more crucial, with Ash choosing to put his faith in Gible while Trip by sheer happenstance brings out his Vanillite. This puts a smug smirk on the Unovan boy's face, since he is more or less assured the victory now, as in his assessment Ash hasn't improved at all since their last battle. To this end, he takes the offensive, hurling Icicle Spears, Ice Shards and even Blizzards at the quad-weak Drake, who in spite of this insists on fighting on just like its knuckle-headed trainer. However, despite what Trip might think, this unwillingness to give up is an asset, not a weakness, as when Gible forces its way through the frozen ground with Dig, it is able to land a powerful hit that looks as though it might end the battle. Sadly, it is not that simple, as on its trainer's command, Vanillite recovers and blasts its foe with a point-blank ice beam that freezes it solid. Now it is Ash who appears to have lost, though when the boy cries out for his friend, white light bursts from the ice brick, with the little Drake doing likewise a moment later, though now it is not so little, with the newly evolved Gabite lunging forward to deliver a super effective rock smash right into Vanillite's face. This is enough to put it down for the count, giving the victory of their third battle to Ash, something Trip finds a little unnerving, though this just means he needs to train more, since if he can't beat this kid from the boonies, what chance does he have of facing older? Meanwhile, Ash is over the moon, running onto the field and hugging Gabite, who in turn chomps down on his head with its much stronger jaw, while to the side Iris cheers for Gabite, and Silent comments that it and Ash's friendship certainly has a unique aroma, though there is something truly special about the pair. Following this, the trio get back on the road, with Ash still getting his Palpitoad and Silent getting his Stunfisk, while Iris instead gets a rival, a red-haired girl named Georgia who declares herself a Dragon Buster, and intends to take down any Dragon types and Dragon Masters. This ultimately culminates in a battle, with Iris and her Excadrill finally putting their differences aside and earning a tie against Georgia. Though they're not the only ones the Dragon Buster is interested in, as she also insists that Ash and Gabite battle her. Always spoiling for a match, Ash agrees, with the duo making short work of her Pawniard, though refusing to accept she lost to them. Georgia declares that she was at a disadvantage since her Beartick was already worn out, so this battle doesn't count, and next time she'll show Ash and Gabite her real power. Not really getting what she's so worked up about, the Raven-haired boy agrees to face her again whenever, with this seeing the birth of a new rivalry, as now Georgia intends to bust both Iris and Ash. Meanwhile, battling is not the only way Gabite shows itself to be an asset, as in the episode Gotta Catch a Roggenrola, when Ash and co head into a mine to help save a group of the titular rock types from Team Rocket, they are forcibly caved in by the crooks, only for Gabite to use its digging skills and much larger arms to tunnel them all to freedom alongside Excadrill, allowing them to save the day, and Ash to add one of the Roggenrola to his team. Following this, there is another gap in which Gabite doesn't get up to much, as the trio make it to Nimbasa Town and sign up for the club battle, with Georgia in particular getting quite angry when Ash battles her with Pikachu rather than his dragon type. However, one trainer who is worthy of using Gabite against is Iris, as when she and Ash are paired up in the finals, it becomes a battle of ground types, as she picks Excadrill and he places his faith in the middle stage Drake. Due to both being dual types with an evolution under their belt and a focus on offensive power, this is a close match, with both Pokemon giving off a lot of good licks, as Excadrill rams into its opponent with drill runs and metal claws while Gabite slashes at its subterranean foe with rock smashes. Ultimately, however, this latter move is super effective while Excadrills are not, with this being what turns the tide, so that the end of a slugfest that none are likely to forget, Iris's starter collapses with spirals for eyes, while Ash and his dragon stand proud, as they are officially named the Club Battle Champions. Following this, our heroes get back on the road once more, though here they are joined by an unlikely companion, Team Rocket's Meowth, who claims to have been fired from the organization and so pleads for the twerp's forgiveness and protection. Due to believing the innate goodness of everyone, Ash and his friends accept this, welcoming him into the fold, while Gabite shows off its own good nature by quickly becoming the Scratch Cat's pal, inviting him to join in on its escapades with Scraggy and Axew, and sitting with him at meals so they can chat. This deeply touches Meowth's heart, though not enough to stop him from betraying them all when they reached Nimbasa City, since as it turns out, this was all a ploy to lure the twerp's Pokemon into the subway so Jesse and James could steal them. Luckily, Ash, Silent, and Iris with a bit of help from the subway bosses Ingo and Emmett are able to prevent this, stopping the train from being airlifted away, and driving off the crooks who are forced to retreat in defeat. While saddened by this betrayal, Ash has something to take his mind off it, that being his upcoming gym battle with Alessa. Due to having forewarning that she's an electric-type user, the boy decides to use Palpitoad and Gabite, and since he's not so arrogant as to think he can win this with one Pokemon, he figures he might as well round out the team and have a backup, who in this case is Pikachu. This proves to be a wise decision, as while Palpitoad is able to beat Zeb's Striker, it falls to Emolga, and knowing that ground-type moves won't work on the Flying Squirrel due to Iris having caught one, he's able to switch into Pikachu right away, instead of making a fool of himself by needing to leave the gym mid-battle. Having spent a good chunk of the time it took to reach Nimbasa mastering Electro Ball, Pikachu was able to put on an impressive show by taking Emolga down with this move, though due to not having expended energy on Snivy like in canon, the electric flying type does manage to do more damage to Pikachu before it is defeated. As a result, when the clash with Alessa's so-called Electric Queen Dynamo begins, the mouse Pokemon simply cannot land the finishing blow before he is defeated by the Tackle Barrage, meaning the outcome of this battle all rests on Gabite. While this does pose the same problem as Emolga in that Dynamo is immune to ground-type moves, Gabite still has Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, and Rock Smash at its disposal, though if that were not enough, it also has its Bitey Jaws, which it attempts to close around the distinctly snack-sized Elefish Pokemon. Luckily for Alessa, Dynamo is fast enough to avoid this fate, though this doesn't leave much room for attacking when its sole move is Tackle. As a result, things quickly devolve into a game of tag, as the electric type tries desperately to avoid being bitten or blasted, though having already taken a fair few hits from Pikachu, its stamina is rather low, meaning before long, Gabite is able to land a definitive Draco Meteor on the Elefish's back, blowing it out of the sky and causing it to lie unconscious. Seeing this, Ash lets out a delighted whoop, then as he and his draconic friend embrace, he thanks it for winning him his 4th gym badge, while it in turn takes a familiar affectionate nibble of his noggin. And that's where we'll leave things. What battles lay ahead for Ash and Gabite? How high will the pair be able to climb thanks to more time together? And will the dragon type's presence affect the rest of the party's development too? Find out as the journey continues.